guards were not originally a unified force, and their command authorities were in different hands. In terms of finances, the border garrison was funded by the royal treasury, while the noble's personal guard was the responsibility of the noble themselves. Therefore, lack of communication between them wasn't really anything unusual. Well, let's set that matter aside for now. On the law, please continue. As for weapons and equipment, I will naturally procure them from you, including those spirits as well. Bona took a deep breath, quickly regaining his composure, then continued speaking. Excellent. Onlwa shrugged. Another big deal. Negotiating with these nobles was always pleasant. After all, they were rich, and there was still much profit to be made from them. Well, next comes the crucial part. Bona, starting tomorrow, bring your men here for training. I can provide you with a martial arts grandmaster as your guide. What? When Bona heard the title, martial arts grandmaster, he abruptly stood up. He almost couldn't suppress his astonished shout. After all, that was a martial arts grandmaster. A powerful being rank 5, mid-stage. Understandably, anyone worthy of the title of martial arts grandmaster was without exception an extraordinarily high realm practitioner. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to step onto the path of martial arts at all. But what did Onlwa just say? He said that he could invite a martial arts grandmaster to train his personal guard team. What a glorious opportunity that was. Bona fully understood that his own rank was far less prestigious than that of a martial arts grandmaster. And yet Onlwa could casually mention such a thing, which spoke volumes about his own identity. He must certainly be someone unattainably superior. With this thought, Bona suddenly gained strong confidence in this plan. If a real martial arts grandmaster trained his personal guard team, combined with the advanced weaponry from Onlwa, they might indeed succeed in capturing the grain route of the Artusan kingdom. Huff, huff. Onlwa, were your words true? To prevent any misunderstanding, Bona suppressed his excitement and asked, Certainly yes. Then I agree with what you said. After receiving Onlwa's confirmation, Bona solemnly nodded. Then he added, Success or failure rests on this one move, and I, Bona, am no coward. You won't regret your decision. Onlwa said with a faint smile. Indeed, demonstrating one's power is always the right way to proceed. All the prior talks paled in comparison to the mere title of martial arts grandmaster. The power of ranks is absurd, yet undeniably true. A powerful martial arts grandmaster, when facing ordinary soldiers, can take on 10,000 effortlessly. Then, after we secure the supply route, the ore veins that we capture, I want one. Of course you deserve it. Bona agreed. For something like this, even the king himself would not refuse. Well then, let's have a pleasant cooperation. Pleasant cooperation. The negotiation ended very smoothly. The timing to attack the grain route of Artusan kingdom was set half a month later. During this period, on one hand, Bona's personal guard needed to adapt and work with the new weapons and equipment. On the other hand, they had to come over to Onlwa's place for training. Otherwise, having only excellent equipment but insufficient strength would be meaningless. 2,000 gold coins, Bona sure is generous. Onlwa sighed inwardly. These nobles really had money. Without batting an eye, thousands of gold coins were handed over. It seems the plan to squeeze more out of these nobles needs to be expedited. Activate building, martial arts arena. While contemplating, Onlwa simultaneously activated the building that had long been selected in his mind. Martial arts arena. Universal system architecture, capable of activating the practitioner's blood energy, concentrating their spirit energy, enhancing training effects, and increasing their insight, achieving rapid improvements. Includes a bonus of 1 martial arts grandmaster. A building costing 2,000 gold coins to activate truly is worth its value. Onlwa looked at the description of the martial arts arena, nodding while placing it behind the blacksmith shop, close to the equipment processing plant. On the other side of the equipment processing plant, Onlwa was preparing a spot for the ore smelting factory. So does that mean I have to make another trip to the vein site? As he placed the martial arts arena, Onlwa suddenly thought of this matter. That's right. Since the building summoning system is on me, no one else can do it for me and summon the building. So there's no choice but to make the trip myself. TCH. So, when Bona goes to attack the grain route of Artusan kingdom, I have to tag along as well. Onlwa stroked his chin while pondering in his mind. This system suggests to the host not to take unnecessary risks. Then, the system's voice sounded in Onlwa's head. What does unnecessary risks mean? Isn't this also for our business? If we don't have the vein, how can the blacksmith shop develop? So I definitely need to go and summon the mining field. And speaking of the mining field, when Onlwa said this, another matter came to his mind. The security issue of the mining field. The vein is quite far from the Hunter Wolf Forest, so the mining field definitely won't be under my direct supervision. If someone messes around, wouldn't that cause trouble? Host, please don't worry about the safety of the building. It's not that easy to destroy something from this system. It's not like I'm solely worried about the safety of the mining field. The main problem is, since the mining field operates fully automatically without anyone guarding it, problems may arise easily. After all, an empty mining field sitting on the vein and continuously producing ores would seem rather strange, wouldn't it? So the vein needs to be enclosed properly. Onlwa explained as he stroked his chin. Do you have any solution for this issue? At this point, Onlwa felt somewhat stuck, realizing his current biggest shortfall. It's that he lacks trustworthy manpower. Each main building only comes with one gifted talent. If he wants to gather enough people, who knows when that will be. Host, if you follow your idea, simply summoning the night camp can solve all your problems. How's that? Upon hearing the system mention the night camp again, Onlwa couldn't help but ask. The reason is simple. The night camp and the martial arts arena are different. The martial arts arena belongs to the universal type building. Anyone can train inside. and the effects vary by individual. However, the night camp is part of the holy light system, and only believers of its kind can enter. In other words, any knights of faith coming out of the night camp will be loyal to the host. There's such a thing. Onlua was greatly surprised after listening to the system's explanation. He truly hadn't thought that the night camp had such hidden settings. No wonder it required prerequisite buildings. Now that he thought about it, it made sense. If there isn't even a church, then who would the Knights of Faith protect? Therefore, the prerequisite buildings for the night camp cannot be missing. But, even though I know the solution, that still has to wait. Anyway, since there is indeed a solution, that's still good news. Since the method to solve the problem already exists, Onlua no longer needed to worry. Instead, he returned to the previous topic. But, system, my earlier question is still unanswered. If I need to go to the vein location, what methods can ensure my safety? Onlua asked seriously. This wasn't unnecessary risk-taking, it was unavoidable. Additionally, Onlua also needed to ensure the success of this surprise attack. Otherwise, the vein will just remain a dream. Of course, some might say why bother going with Bona to raid the supply route of the Artusan Kingdom. Once they succeed in the ambush, and the great battle is victorious, can't he go later instead? Though true, it would waste a lot of time. After all, cutting off the frontline supplies of the Artusan Kingdom is only a precondition for victory. Afterward, one still needs to prevent the counterattack of the soldiers remaining at the front line and reinforcements from the Artusan Kingdom. By the time the war is over, at least half a year will pass. How much gold will Onlua lose during this period? Moreover, the most important point is, without the vein, the blacksmith shop relying solely on raw materials provided by the equipment processing plant won't last even half a year. Weapons and equipment are also consumables after all. So, if safety can be ensured, Onlua still wants to make the trip. Host, you really love taking unnecessary risks. But it's not impossible. Just bring Bangle and Kikoya. Bangle, martial arts master. Oh, Onlua clearly paused at the sound of this unfamiliar name. However, after another response from the system, he caught on. The name of the martial arts master is Bangle, right? But, I understand why I should bring Bangle along. Why should I also bring Kikoya? Still, Onlua had his doubts. Host, this system knows how much you want this vein, so take Kikoya with you. She has a way to ensure your victory in this battle. But this is an exception. Don't expect it again. What exactly did you help me with here? As Onlua listened to the system's explanation, he stroked his chin for quite a while before finally asking a question. Chapter 60. Boss, step up to the arena. Rank 5, middle stage, master blacksmith. This system has exceptionally helped Kikoya advance early in her promotion. Host, remember that you'll have to pay it back later. Can this thing be borrowed for use first? And Luo became excited immediately upon hearing that this seemingly foolish system had such skills. System, why don't you help me enhance my strength as well? That way, I can also be safer, right? It's better for me to become powerful myself than to rely on others to protect me. And Luo didn't consider these possibilities before because he was unaware that the system had such a function. But now that the system has revealed itself, and Luo thought there was an opportunity to gain some advantage. Host, this system suggests you sleep well and don't fantasize about such things. Only with the talents gifted with the building can this system exceptionally boost their strength. You don't have this privilege. Is there such a thing? Am I not the host? In theory, shouldn't I get better treatment? Why can't my strength be enhanced directly? And Luo questioned with some doubt. There's no denying how tempting it is to gain something without effort. Who would want to work hard if they could gain benefits without paying? Building one's blood chi and spiritual energy through personal efforts. It wasn't clear whether Luo could endure the process. Even if he could endure it, when direct upgrades are possible, why should he bother enduring it all? Because the power that this system enhances for you, this system can also reclaim at any time. Host, if you want to truly grow stronger, then rely honestly on yourself. That is the strength that truly belongs to you. The help of this system is merely auxiliary. No, stop talking. How did the conversation turn into another session of life coaching? Hearing this, Luo quickly waved his hand to stop the system's preaching. In essence, you simply don't want to let me benefit from you but pretend to do so for my own good. It's unacceptable. Alright, I won't bother you anymore. Let me take a look inside the martial arts training hall. Since the system refused to help, Luo could only find his own ways. Actually, what Luo said just now wasn't wrong. Relying on oneself is better than depending on others. Though the talented people gifted by the system are indeed loyal to him. On the battlefield during chaos, what if they fail to protect him? Wouldn't that spell trouble? Therefore, people should depend on themselves, possess strong abilities as soon as possible, and that's the fundamental matter. And Luo realized this before, but never felt motivated to train himself. However, the situation is different now. For the development of the blacksmith shop, and Luo will soon be going to the battlefield alongside Bona Norton. If he doesn't have the ability to protect himself, should anything unexpected happen, it'd be a pity dying at such a young age. Coincidentally, the martial arts training hall stands right before him. Why not take this opportunity to exercise properly? Speaking of which, the exterior of the martial arts training hall appears quite simple, with no extravagant decorations. Upon entering, there's a massive training field at the entrance. Around the field are several arenas placed neatly. Outside the field, there's the rest area. The overall layout is very simple, it's just large in scale. And Luo estimated mentally while walking. Such a big training field can easily accommodate thousands of people for simultaneous training. Soon, and Luo reached the middle of the field where a man waited for him, tall and sturdy, with a rugged face and an imposing presence like a mountain. Boss, hello, I am Bangarud. The man spoke with a deep and resonant voice, much like a loud drumbeat, with excellent penetration. Glad to meet you, Bangarud. And Luo nodded and observed Bangarud thoroughly. It's difficult to perceive exactly where the so-called master of martial arts derives his strength from. To be fair, Enluo has been in this world for a long time and knows about extraordinary beings' existence. Moreover, he himself is also an extraordinary being. However, Enluo has never fully grasped the specific combat capabilities of extraordinary beings. Instead, he has a relatively clear understanding of the ferocity and strength of demons. After all, it was those damned creatures that caused him to become a refugee at first. Thus, after a moment of silence, Enluo was the first to speak. Bangarud, if I want to strengthen myself quickly, do you have any good methods? After hearing this, Bangarud didn't answer immediately, but instead carefully examined Enluo for a while. Then he replied, there is a way, but it will be very hard. I don't mind, I'm not afraid of hardship. Enluo took a deep breath. As soon as he walked into the martial arts training hall, he was already prepared. If you want to get stronger, there's no way around suffering hardships. It's just that there was no need in this aspect before, so he had never taken action. After all, procrastination is indeed one of those incurable conditions. But now, I have a need in this aspect. Then it can't be put off any longer. Alright, since that's the case, boss, please let me test your basic abilities. Bangarud slightly nodded, then gestured with his hand towards the nearby arena. Make me fight on the arena? Upon hearing this, Enluo immediately froze. Not to mention my lack of skills, just by looking at your massive and sturdy figure. Bullying a weak scholar like me seems quite unfair, doesn't it? That's not appropriate. Boss, I'll suppress my level to match yours, and won't use any skills either. So let's begin. Bangarud continued speaking. Well, alright. Enluo scratched his head, hesitated for quite some time, but finally agreed. Let's be honest, if extraordinary beings don't engage in actual